Welcome to Wading into Retirement. In today's episode, we look at the real personal fears that I have in moving to Mexico. Welcome back, everyone. It's Mike. Today's a solo episode with just me, and it's a personal episode. So we've talked a lot about moving to Mexico and all of the pros and excitements that come with that. Today I thought we'd step back and talk about what are some of the real fears that just I personally have. Laura may have a totally different set, and we may ask her to do an episode that's very similar to this. So I think for me, and this may not be just a Mexico fear, but having enough money. I think moving anywhere and not quite knowing what the cost of living is going to be, it's just, there's a fear there. There's a fear of change and the impact that will have on personal finances. Now there's ways to mitigate that, and we've certainly done a lot of that, and we do a lot of planning. So I think we're okay, but it's kind of like a retirement thing, right? You just never know when you're going to have enough money. You never know when you should take that plunge. And so there's a little bit of fear and trepidation around that. I think the other fear that I have is, will Laura truly like it? So Laura is very much a social being, where I am not. I'm a little more reserved. So we are kind of taking her out of her social environment here in Canada. And we're going to have to make new friends, new acquaintances, have new people to go out to dinner with, if that's what we choose to do. And it's taken years to build up those friendships here in Canada. So I do have a fear she is going to struggle more than me with this particular issue. And if she's not happy, then we're not happy. So that's certainly a fear that I have. Another fear that's on my list is food. So we eat a lot of salads, fresh foods, try to eat healthy like most people do. And in our kind of test run in Mexico, one thing we did notice is getting fresh leafy greens was very difficult. Now maybe we weren't looking in the right places, but it was very much a kind of tortilla-based situation, which I love, but not necessarily healthy for you. Just to get a salad and fresh vegetables to make a fresh salad, it seemed like that was going to be a struggle for us. Now again, I could be proven wrong, and maybe I was looking in the wrong spot, but it is something that made my list as something I have a concern about or a fear about. And the next one is friends. So I think this is family and friends. I just mentioned this with Laura, of course, but just in general, we're going to be walking away from our best friends that we do a lot of things with, at least temporarily. Family, grandchildren that we already have, grandchildren that may be on the way. We're going to miss out on a lot of that. Now, in my own mind, I say, we only see the family side of this kind of like a special occasion kind of thing. It's not like we do something regularly with any of our family members. So it might not be as bad as we think, whether it be them visiting us coming back to visit them. But it is something that I know is on my mind and is probably on Laura's mind as well, but we'll find out when she does it. The other thing about Mexico is, when you're on a vacation there, the weather's beautiful because we're usually leaving here in Canada when it's freezing cold and you're embracing the heat. Living there year round, I'm a little curious whether the heat will be as appealing as we think it may be. So we did spend some time in Cozumel and determined that that really was probably going to be too hot for us for a year-round kind of location. So we're choosing somewhere in the mountains. So it'll be a little more temperate. It's kind of a high desert climate, but it's still going to be warm most of the time. As a result, there's no air conditioning in the spot that we're going, and there's no heat in the spot that we're going as well, just because the weather is that temperate. So there are some bonuses there, but you know, I kind of like the bedroom to be frigid, so you get a good night's sleep when you're really cold with air conditioning blowing. That's really not going to happen where we're going. So that's a concern for me as well. And I think last but not least, kind of comes back to the social thing a little bit, is will we be bored? We have a routine here. We know what we're doing. We know where we get our groceries. If we're bored on any given night, we jump in the car. We know where we're going to go for a drive. All of that's new. So, I mean, it will work itself out. But part of me thinks we may wake up on a Saturday morning and stare at each other and say, what are we going to do? Because, you know, once you have your house set up and you are there and doing, you know, the activities of daily life, getting your groceries and keeping the house running and walking the dogs, what else are we going to do? And this could be something that's a fear for anybody that retires. If you're not getting up and going to a job, what is your purpose and what is it that's going to kind of keep you going and entertain you on a daily basis? Now for me, I kind of puddle around on the computer. I may do some writing. I've written in the past. So I have a lot of ideas around what I can keep my time busy with. So it might not be as much a fear as just something that I'm kind of keeping track of. So anyways, a bit of a vulnerable episode in terms of, you know, not necessarily the pros of moving to Mexico, but the things that could concern me. And I thought it was important to share that side of the story as well. So we will see how it goes when we actually get there. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so below and click the bell for notifications. I'd very much appreciate that. And that's it this week from Wading into Retirement.